Hi and plebs, so today's video will be going over the every meta relevant card in Raging Tempest. So sneak peeks are today basically, so I'm a little bit late with this one, but you know, set isn't officially out till next week, so hopefully provide some insight here. So I'm just going to go over every card in Raging Tempest. I've read them all, and I'm going to just pick out ones that are okay, worth picking up, worth thinking about. They might be good this set, they might be good months from now, maybe a year from now. Just generically good cards that could be useful somewhere down the line. So I've done this before for every set apart from Invasion of Vengeance, so sorry about that. I don't know, I think life just got in the way. So let's just jump straight into it. We're going alphabetically, of course. So first up we've got Ancient Gear, new Ancient Gear support. This stuff isn't very good, and the things in the structure deck are a lot better. The deck isn't worth paying attention to now, so I'm not going to waste too much time on this, but basically a couple of decent cards in here. The fusion is alright, but most of the good stuff comes in the structure deck later this summer. So they're only commons and rares, so if you find them, just keep a hold of them. You know, it could be useful around Nationals or Euros time this year, so something to think about depending on the ban list. So yeah, it's not much really to say. Next, we've got Beginning of Heaven and Earth. I just wanted to mention this because I have to include at least one weeb card. It's not great, but it's actually okay if you're playing a Blackluster Gaia deck thing, right? So you can reveal 3 warriors from your deck, including BLS and Gaia the Fierce Knight, and your opponent randomly picks one. If it's not BLS or Gaia, you can add it to your hand or send the rest of the graveyard. So if they pick the random warrior, it's shit, but you know, 66% chance. And you mill the rest of the graveyard. It kind of fuels your graveyard for light and dark, for chaos decks. Obviously it's a trap, so a little bit slow. It should really just be a spell. I don't know why it's a trap, like... Anyway, let's just move on. Yeah, otherwise send one to the graveyard, you can only activate one. So, yeah, not very good. I just wanted to mention a weep card, because, you know, I'm gotta be nice to our VLS fans. So next up we've got Brave Eyes Pendulum Dragon. Basically, not very good. You know Utopia Beyond? It's basically what this card is. It just puts everything to 0, and it's the only one that it can attack, so it doesn't even help you OTK, because this is the only thing that can attack. So it's not very good. And I think it's like Armades as well, negate the activated effects of monsters with 0 attack. Yeah, so it basically negates everything until the end of the turn. It's the only one that can attack, and at the end of the damage step, when this card attacks an opponent's monster, you can banish it as well. So it's really not that great, honestly. It's quite easy to make with Trump Magician, the Performapal Trump Girl, I think. So it's fairly easy to make, so I mean, I don't know, you could play one, but, you know, for a secret rare, you can sell this ASAP. Like, if you can find someone who's really into this, and you can get, like, I don't know, like £25 out of it, I'd fucking sell this instantly. So, yeah, unless you really like, you know, Pendulum Dragon monsters, so. Yep, next up, Ciphers. Horrible archetype. Really bad. It makes like a rank 8 and that's it, I think. So I think it's got some crazy combos, but like, you know, one of those weird things where it's like one card, when it's like, you need like 3 1-offs and like shit like that, yeah, so. This archetype's not worth going over. Crystron support. The Synchro monster is really good. I don't know how good the archetype itself is. I know it is kind of focused on synchro summoning and stuff, but it's sort of okay to make in the deck if your opponent doesn't respond, but it has a really amazing effect, so I just wanted to mention this. So when it's synchro summoned, if this synchro summon card is destroy a battle card effect, you can target one of your banished monsters, one banished monster in special summon. So that's you can summon your opponent's monsters, but that's not the good part. The really good part is that when it's synchroed, target monsters your opponent controls and or in their graveyard up to the number of synchro materials used for this card and banish them. So you can like summon this and then banish 3 cards. It's really good, but you know, again, that's like assuming your opponent has no response. So either to your plays before this, or the setup, or the synchro summon itself. So not great, but it's a good boss monster. Just don't know about how easy it is to make. That's the problem. Next up, we've got Cyber Angel support. Cyber Angel Natasha, not very good, honestly. Her graveyard effect is better than her main effect. Her main effect is just some like attack point modifier. It's not great. But basically, if it's in the graveyard, you can banish one other Cyber Angel monster from your graveyard, and then target one monster your opponent controls, and then special it from the graveyard. So it keeps coming back. And there's a new Cyber Angel ritual card this thing here. So when you tribute it, it brings back the spell, because Natasha is the only level 5 Cyber Knight. So you can tribute Tutabon here, and then add back the spell that you used to summon Natasha. So it just lets you like extend your plays that way, because you're able to use that same ritual spell again. And the ritual spell is really good. This new one here, it's called Machine Angel Absolute Ritual. So not only do you contribute from your hand, but this thing's really good as well, because you can use the tributes from your graveyard. So in the same way, if you, for example, remember Necros, you had Examir, you could banish your cards. Well, instead of banishing cards, this shuffles them into the deck. So yeah, this is a really good card. You know, Cyber Angels aren't going to be super meta because of this, but it's solid support. You know, not very competitive, but really good ritual card. And next, Dark Contract of Entities. Basically not very good. So you need to summon a DDD monster of the below type. So Fusion, Synchro, Ixie, Pendulum. So that's literally every type of DD monster that they can summon. But you know, the most relevant one, which is Fusion summoning a DD monster, the only effect you get is gaining 1,000 life. That's not great. When you Synchro summon into Alexander or Siegfried, you can make it untargetable. If you make Kali Yuga, you can banish a card in the field or graveyard. And if you summon a Pendulum monster, which is the only really good part of this, realistically, because you rarely make Kali Yuga. You make Alexander a lot and Siegfried a lot, but making them untargetable is really not really that relevant, honestly, because most decks just get over those monsters by like just kaijuing them. that's what your deck does first turn. So I mean, you could make this like as you could play this as a one-off because it's searchable, and like getting over an untargetable Siegfried is pretty tough for Zoo to do, you know, if you have some ways to protect it. So I mean, they can make Drancia pop the Dark Contract and then Castell the Siegfried, but you know, it's assuming you have no other way to stop Drancia or the Castell. So, I mean, you could play one. It's sort of like a March of the Monarchs for your synchros, and the other effects aren't very good. Other than the Pendulum one. So if you use Thomas and then destroy Ragnarok in Scale or something, and then special Ragnarok, you can draw one, then discard one, which is kind of good. You can draw something and then discard Lamy or Necroslime, so it's okay. I'd probably play it as a one-off, but it's not super, like, you know, it's not something you need to, like, see. It's just, it has its uses. Foolish Burial Goods. Foolish Burial for spell cards. Send Toy Vendor. Send... I can't think of anything else right now, honestly, but yeah, this will be amazing somewhere down the line. If you pull it, I'd probably hold on to it, since it's probably not worth that much now, but it's definitely going to see use in the future. Something will break this, like absolutely break this one day, just mark my words. Full Force Virus, another secret rare in the set. Tribute a dark monster with 2,000 or more defense. Check your opponent's hand. All monsters they control and all cards they draw until the end of their third turn, destroy all those monsters with 1,500 or less defense. So as you can imagine, most monsters and most boss monsters in this game don't actually have a lot of defense. So yeah, you could play this in DD. That's a thing. Because all the Zodiac monsters are really tiny. So you can tribute off something like... Does Genghis have 2,000 or more defense? You can make one of your fusions. I know Dark has 2,000 defense. You can summon Dark, tribute it, and then just destroy all their monsters in their hand. They can't really play. Unless they draw like Terror Top or Barrage. Oh no, they have a response. Yeah, so it's not super awesome, but it's pretty strong. Fusion Parasite. This is... so... It's okay. Basically, it's Prisma in the hand. So you can substitute it for any fusion material listed on a fusion monster. And if this... It's got a second effect as well, which is pretty irrelevant, but basically it's just Prisma in the hand, so you can substitute it for something else. So I'm sure there's some crazy wacky fusion monster that has a super hard material. It just means you can use this instead of your normal summons. And Prisma you'd have to normal summon. With this card, you don't need your normal summons, so... because Prisma can be warned, it can be striked, it can be like negated, fucking Fiendish Chained. Like this thing, you just activate it in hand, so it's cool. It could be useful for some fusion thing in the future. The other effect where it's like, you know, if this card is special summoned, you can fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters you control as fusion materials. So you can just fuse again, basically. I don't know. Yeah, it's not a very good second effect. This is another cool card, Fusion Recycling Plant. Discard a card, add poly from your deck or graveyard to hand, which is really awesome. Graveyard is notable because it means you're not really necessarily forced to play tons of polymerizations. Because, for example, Fluffles have so many ways to add polymerization now that you probably don't even want to play like 3 because like all your cards can search it. They have the Patchwork now, I think, searches it, and they have a themed monster that searches it. And then you play the polymerizations themselves, and then you play the field spell. So you probably don't even need to play like maximum 3. You can, of course. It's probably best to play 3, but like just because this card discards is really good. Because you want to put stuff into your graveyard with Fluffles. Like you want to like I don't know, like pitch a like Wings or something like that, for example, if you don't have Vendor. Or I don't know the deck too well, but I know it does need some stuff in the graveyard, so that's pretty cool. Next up, Magispector Gust. It's not super great, but because it's searchable and you can play it as a one-of, Magispectors are always been a really grindy deck. So because it's a trap card, you know, if you happen to open one of your negates, you can set this instead, because chances are you're not going to be able to pendulum summon more than like 2 or 3 Magispectors in a turn. So if you have Toad Fox, automatically, you know, you're going to have to get to 2 traps. But if you already open one of those traps, you only have fuel for 2 negates. So therefore, you might as well make the 3rd trap this card, is what I'm saying. So basically during your opponent's end phase, for example, you can activate this and then summon Bumbuka from your extra deck or something. From your Pendulum Zone. So from your scale, if you've had to scale it, for example, or just any of your thingy monsters like Nikomata as well, which I think triggers in your opponent's turn. And then it just means on the start of your turn, you'll have like a much stronger play. You know, but of course it's a trap card, it's a brick in your hand, it's not very good first turn, it's only good in that one niche situation I said. But yeah, Magispectors have always been a grind deck, so I mean this gives them kind of a little bit more of a boost like first turn, if you know what I mean. This thing is really bad, but it's really cute, so I just wanted to mention it. It's called Metronome. Haha, you get it? You see the pun there? Basically it's not very good scale effect. So you can target one of the cards in either player's Pendulum Zone and it copies the scale. So it's okay for mirror matches. It's like a level 4 scale, so you can activate this in your scale and then copy their Metal Foe's 1 scale, and now it becomes a 1 scale or an 8 scale, so that's kind of good. So it's not super awesome, but it's level 4 in Earth, so that's really good. But the monster effect is where this is really good. The first effect's irrelevant, but what you really use this for is if this inflicts battle damage, it pops all scales on the field. So you know, you can like just inflict some battle damage, just summon it and like attack over Bumbuku and just blow up all the scales and then activate your scales after and then pendulum. So could be a thing. It's not great, I know. I just thought I'd mention it. Next we have Odd Eye's Raging Dragon. So level 7, rank 7. The monster effect is not very great unless you summon it using Xyz monsters and Xyz material. So what you need to do is summon a level 7 dragon. Use Janky Magician in the scale, target it to make the monster a rank instead of a level, and then you Xyz into this card, and then, once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card, destroy as many cards your opponent controls as possible, and this card gains 200 attack for each. Fucking bonkers effect. That's a really good effect. The problem is, however, is you need to play Janky Magician, and you need to play level 7 dragons, of which there are none currently, really. So there's a new card in this set called Dragon Collar Magician, which is like you can kind of play it with this card, but I just thought I'd mention this like in tandem with it. So next card, we have a Shaddoll Trap card. It's actually really good. It's just 2 years too late. I just wanted to mention it because I thought it was funny. So you can target a Shaddoll monster you control and then send the Shaddoll card from your hand to the graveyard. The targeted monster gains 1000 attack, and then set it during the end phase. So it was good back when the format was slow. It's not good now, but I just thought this is actually really good for like back in 2014 when Shaddolls were released. So you can like basically your opponent tries to attack your, I don't fucking know, hedgehog. So you can activate the trap, send the beast from your hand, and then the hedgehog now should be able to like attack over that monster because it's 1000 attack. Like, I don't know, let's assume it's sort of a weak monster they're attacking you with. So their monster dies, and then during the end phase, the hedgehog gets set, and obviously you drew the card off beast. So it would have been good 2 years ago, but it's not really great now. I know. This is a really amazing one. It's Phantasmal Micellosaurus. I think it's called Miscellaneousaurus in the TCG, but basically, this is going to be really good when the new dinosaur support comes out. Basically, it's a hand trap that you can ditch and make your dinosaurs unaffected by cards effects. Is it definitely card effects? Activated effects, yes. So yeah, they can't like do anything to like your Lagia or Dolka. And then it has another effect as well. So it's a hand trap for protecting your Protect the Castle deck. And then you can banish any number of dinosaur type monsters from your graveyard, including this card. Special summon a dinosaur monster from your deck whose total levels equal the number of monsters banished, but is destroyed during the end phase. So you can special from your deck like after you've used the hand trap effect. So it replaces itself. It's really good. It's going to be quite decent with the new structure deck. Recardination. Basically, target a Flower Guardian monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand, and then special Flower Guardian monster from your hand, ignoring its summoning conditions. Flower Guardians are not a great deck, but this is a really good card. Flower Guardians have a lot of good spell cards, but the monsters are garbage. So I just wanted to mention this, because if you like Guardians, this is kind of cool. It's got a lot of effects. If it's sent to the graveyard by the effect of a Guardian monster, you can excavate cards, and then add a spell or trap, so you can add the draw one, is it? I think there's a draw one, or Foolish Burial one. I think it's a draw one. But yeah, not great. But just thought I'd mention it. Ritual Beast Return. This thing is so good. This thing is so amazing. This is everything the deck needed. I swear to God, like this is just, it just makes your first turns just like, it gives you your first turns. So what does it do? You can banish a Ritual Beast from your hand and target one of your Ritual Beast monsters that is banished or is in your graveyard and special summon it. So you can special from your graveyard or banish zone by banishing a Ritual Beast from your hand. So first turn, you're guaranteed to do Kanahawk combo. You can like normal summon Rampengu, that's the banish one. What's the fucking Foolish Burial one called again? Kanahawk, yeah, of course. So if you open like Kanahawk or Rampengu or like Elder Kanahawk Rampengu or just any way to dump, you can special summon it, because one of the problems with Ritual Beast was getting a Tamer and a Beast on the field at the same time turn one, because it was very limited by its normal summon, and it needed graveyard setup to use Lara, for example, or Winda, or no, Wendy? Windu? I can't remember her name, fuck. Just Wen. So, this lets you, you know, set up a lot faster. And it brings back any Ritual Beast monster. So if they Solemn Strike your Ulti Kanahawk, you can special summon it back. If you're soft cheating, don't do that. But yeah, it's pretty cool that you can bring back fusion monsters as well if they don't strike it, of course. Sea Monster of Theseus, you know, this level 5 tuner. Shino Bird, new archetype. It's kind of cool, not really anything special. They're all low rarity, so you can pick it up if you want and have a read at it. But basically, it's based on spirit monsters, and they all bounce during the end phase. But this is kind of cool, because when you ritual summon this, you can bounce 3 monsters your opponent controls to the hand. So it's a decent boss monster. It's just kind of hard to make. Spyro's, new card. I've already been over this, watch my last video, but yeah, some good cards in here. The only expensive card in this set is Spy Gal, which is shit, and you don't need to run her, so yay! Budget deck. Subterra support, haven't really read the cards or gone over them too much, but if you're a Subterra fan, there's a couple of things in here. The cards are all low rarity, so if you do plan to play it, you know, it's worth getting a couple of play sets. I know it's not anything special. I have read over it a little bit, but like it doesn't fix the deck's problems, basically. And then we have these new cards here. They're called Symphonic Warriors. The Symphonic Warrior deck is like, these are the only good cards. Like basically what you can do, right? So you can activate Symphonic Warrior Guitar in your Pendulum skill, discard a card, and then you can special summon Symphonic Warrior Microphone. What that does is you can activate skill, discard something, and then special this from your deck. You're probably thinking, why is that good? Well, this lets you have 2 normal summons when it's special summoned. So after you normal special this card, you can normal summon 1 monster during your main phase this turn. It's literally the new Brilliant Fusion engine. Honestly, it's really good. If you play a deck like that needs to discard, this is so good. I actually really like this. So good little 2-card engine you can play. Shoutouts to Sandy for showing me this. Tierra, Source of Destruction. This thing is so dumb. It's very hard to summon, but the effect is basically Sophia. So basically you need to summon it, and can't be summoned by other ways, by shuffling 10 other cards with different names from your hand and or field into the deck or extra deck. So how the fuck are you going to generate that much advantage turn 1? I don't know. But when it is summoned, you shuffle everything in both players' hands, graveyard, field into the deck. Is it just your opponent's activate? Yeah, for each player. So it literally resets the game. So if you actually look at it, it's quite cool. It looks like a tiara wrapped around towers. So it's kind of cool looking. Then we have grass looks greener. Mill cards to your graveyard equal to the difference. So if you play 60 cards, your opponent plays 40 cards. You mill 20 cards. Yay! Win! That's fair. Good luck opening this card in 60 cards though. But yeah, you guys all know this card. Play this in Infernoids, Minerva, etc. Void Madness. Trap card. Flip it. Special summon monsters from your deck that are Infernoid up to the level 8, ignoring their summoning conditions. So basically what you do is you summon the level 6 and 2 Decatrons. That's the combo really. So I forgot what the 6 is called, but you summon 2 Decatrons as well, and you mill 2 and they get 2 effects, and yeah, it's really strong. Trap card, so it's not great if you go second, but going first, boy, you better know. You open this with lawn mowing. GG. True King, level 9. Basically, new Dragon Rulers, they all summon themselves by destroy or ban it? Yeah, destroying cards in your hand. So there's more to come in the future. If you do find this, pick it up because that deck's going to be really good in the future. Trust me. White Princess, shoutouts to Alinthio. It's not very good. Its name becomes Skull Servant when it's in the graveyard and you can mill a Skull Servant. It's not good. I'm just shouting out Alinthio. Wind Witch is the new archetype here. Ice Bell. So this is basically Terror Top. You can special it from your hand and then special Wind Witch from your deck. But it can be tributed. You can't special monsters from your extra deck except Wind Witches. Except level 5 or higher wind monsters, not Wind Witches. And if this is normal summon, you can inflict 500 damage. So generally the combo is you summon Ice Bell, get Rise Bell, I think, and then you synchro into the guy that burns, and then you can make Crystal Wing after that as well. Yeah, that's the combo. I don't think it's great now, but it's going to be decent with Eidolon. So, I mean, if you're looking to play this deck, it's quite cheap. I think there's only 2 Ultra Rares or 1 Ultra Rare. This is obviously an Ultra because this is the best one, but yeah. It's going to be a decent archetype. Yoko Tuner. It's when this card is normal summoned, special 1 tuner from your hand or graveyard, but it has its effects negated. It's just generically good. It's like a good toolbox card. Obviously it's not good now, but I just wanted to mention it because it could have use in the future sometime. I quite like it. You could play it in Dark Synchro maybe, but it's only when it's normal summoned, so you can't 1-for-1 it sadly. But yeah, it's kind of cool. You know, you can make like a 1 card fucking Formula Synchro and draw a card, go off from there potentially. It's not super great, just wanted to point it out. It's got pretty cool card art. And finally, we're at here at the grand finale. If you've waited this far and you're 22 minutes into the video, and I'm thank you for staying this long. It's been a long one. There's actually a lot of good cards here. My last set review only took like 18 minutes, I think. This one's, we're at like 22. I don't know if I'm talking too much or if there's legitimately just like a lot more good cards in the set. So the set's really good. This is one of the better booster boxes ever. The secrets are all fantastic. All the secret rares are really good, apart from maybe like the virus card. But yeah. If you've watched this far, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you comment down below with hashtag #TeamNoZoo if you're like me and you don't plan to play this deck. I think it goes without saying, I don't really need to say much, but Zodiac's out in this deck. Barrage is a secret rare. That's going to be expensive. Good luck, have fun. So thanks for watching, everyone. Let me know what you think down below, and see you next time.